Welcome to Alberta Football Uncensored. I am your host, Teej Johannesson. With me, as always, is my co-host, Omari Fraser. We are back after a long off-season, I guess you could say, for the podcast. I've had a lot of, since you all last heard from me, I've had quite the change in my life. Some wild, crazy stuff that's gone on in my personal life, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit today. But we're excited to be back doing this. I know Mike's been kind of holding the fort a little bit with some of the stuff he's been doing, so good on him for kind of keeping people entertained. But at the end of the day, this is the OG podcast, right? So we're going to be back here and reminding people that we're still here. We still love the league. We're going to talk about a lot of good stuff today. Dive into the kind of wrapping up of last season, kind of what we're going to move into this season, some of the signings we've seen from people so far, and then some stuff that we think each team might need to kind of move forward. So a little bit of a mix of some personal stuff that's been going on that we think is pretty entertaining, and then some deep dive into the league. We just had the AGM. I believe there'll be a schedule released shortly, and hopefully that's sooner and later. Omari, man, so good to see you. It's been, like I said, it's been a long time. We were trying to work out a good time to do this. How have you been? How's your Christmas season been? What have you been kind of up to in your off season?
My off season's going well. It's been going well. Just it's one of those things now when football wrapped up, it gave me a chance to dive in on stuff outside of football, family life, business, all those kind of areas. I know for me, when I look at back, like season wrapped up, got right into some real estate deals that came up and everything, so I was able to help close out one for the year, which is nice. And then one change I will say I've made is I made the switch just on the finance side, because I like to say I wear two hats, real estate and financial services. So I've made the switch to go independent. I've recently just resigned from the last firm I was with, World Finance Group, and now made the move to go independent. So I'm in the process right now where transferring my license and establishing new contracts with the carriers, all that behind the scenes stuff. And then the goal is to be up and running independently here for January. I can let our loyal fans of AFU know that it's the new trade name and business name and brand I'll be going under is Newfound Wealth. Got some plans there to help bring that and really establish myself in that space. And I guess I would say establish myself independently, but grow from there and have my own shop and everything. So that's kind of fun to dive into. So if you guys will be seeing some content there, because I will cross post it through our AFU Instagram and everything. Like that's the benefit of being one of the founders. We get to cross plug ourselves at any moment we can. But that's kind of what's been happening for me and on that side of it. But I know for me it's this, business as usual. But I know, Teej, you have the big update. You're now in a spot here where you're impacting a big change and doing a lot of big things, and your voice is now extra weight to it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So, it's been a whirlwind of the last 4 months for me. Not even 4 months. It's wild. It'll be 4 months in January. But, a lot of people have heard, and the story kind of went viral. But I was after coaching 10 years at the high school here in Sylvan. Unfortunately, I was let go from my coaching position because of a TikTok video I made. And if anyone's listened to this podcast, I'm definitely not afraid to make my opinions and thoughts on things known. But anyways, I made a TikTok video that basically said I don't agree with the trans ideology and getting kids involved in these types of things. I think it's dangerous. I think it's harmful, whatever. That is against the school's values, I guess. So to the behest of all my players and their parents who wrote some really incredible support letters for me after I got fired because of that TikTok video. They all said that, they wanted me there. I was a great role model and mentor and their favorite coach, and they were devastated. And I was devastated, and I was really upset and obviously hurt because I love coaching and I've been doing that, volunteering thousands of hours of my time across, almost 10 years there. And I think it's, because I don't fall in line with that particular ideology that the principal had or the school had. They decided to let me go. And, the next day there was all my students were livid, or my players were livid. Their parents were livid. Lots of emails, phone calls. And then a bunch of the parents on my football team actually reached out to the media, and I was contacted by about 8 different media organizations, from podcasts to newspapers to Rebel News was the big one. That one went over 100,000 views. Western Standard, who actually Danny Warwick, old AFL player, and coaches at Strathmore now, actually knew one of the guys from Western Standard and sat by him at a Calgary Stampeders football game and told him my story. And then they wanted to do a story on me, and they kind of broke that. And then it kind of went wild. It went across the country. I was getting messages from like Switzerland, from United States, from all over Canada, people in support of me, in support of what I said, in support of me as a coach. And yeah, and then I decided to run for council. I mean, my name was out there. It was pretty pretty much no one around Sylvan Lake didn't know my name at this point. And I've built a pretty solid reputation here in Sylvan through my coaching and through my sports academy. And I have a lot of really glowing references through that. And I thought, what a great chance to, one door closes, let's get another door opening. So I ran for council and won and got elected. And I've been doing that for 2 months now, and it's been awesome. I absolutely love it. Even the haters I love, like when you're someone like me, and I'm the AFL has really prepared me, Omari, because the amount of trash talk, and you've heard it on the sideline, the amount of trash talk that I get just for hosting this podcast, even though everyone, loves listening to the podcast, and then they like to make fun of me for the podcast or talk shit about the podcast. It's prepared me for politics. Because politics, you can't please anyone, and people are always mad at you all the time. So the AFL and this podcast has prepared me for backlash, but also I've received like 90% support and had a great voter base. And so, yeah, man, it's been crazy. I'm now, a town councilor here. I get to help the future and the growth of Sylvan Lake, and I love it here. My family loves it here. I got my 1-year-old daughter at home who's just, since we last talked, she's just grown up so much. She's just such a wonderful personality. She's got my energy, my spunk for life. She's running around, crawling all over the place, standing up, trying to walk, talking to us in her own little language. It's been a blessing. So my life is at an all-time high right now, man, from really utter devastation when I got let go from my coaching job for just having an opinion on something, to being really in the best spot I've ever been in my life. And I feel great. Things are really looking good. And I'm looking forward to getting back and doing this podcast and getting started on our team previews, which will start in the new year. And I think we've got a really good season so far, or coming up. I think this is going to be really good. So yeah, that's kind of the story of my life. It's been hectic, but it's been good, and I'm in a really, really good spot.
That's awesome to hear. And I love what you said, where AFL's not prepare you for politics, just with the competition, the trash talk, and all that stuff. Like, what better playground to refine the talents to be able to take it to the political side. And like, funny you say that too, because when you're running too, I was watching your campaign and everything, and how you're running. And one thing I would say I really appreciate with how you ran as you're entering your political career is where you don't shy away from anyone, like anyone says a comment that's like untrue, whatever. You're really hitting with the facts, like bang, bang, bang. And I think that kind of leadership now is really what everyone appreciates, because you can look back go from COVID to now, like there's been a lot of deception and everything, but you're hitting everyone with the straight facts, the truth, and everything, nothing but the truth. So, that's one thing I've really appreciated, even though I'm not in your region, but I'm sure that kind of leadership is going to really help accelerate you to potentially, the county, provincial, federal, you never know.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. And yeah, like, I'm a straight shooter, that I think everyone that listens to this podcast knows, like, good or bad, I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you how it is. And I really did want to campaign on being genuine and just being honest, and as honest as I possibly could be. I was honest with my morals and my values. I was honest with what I believe in. I was honest with what I don't believe in. And I think that resonated with a lot of people. And, even speaking out about, a controversial issue like trans ideology with kids, people like that I'm not afraid of backlash or not afraid of the consequences, and I'm not going to back down. And again, I think anyone that's ever played against me it's such a parallel between football and life, right? Like, I am on the football field who I am in real life, which is I'm not going to back down from anybody. I'm going to always get up. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not afraid of trash talk. I'm going to be in there. And I'm always going to be honest. And I think that's, you're right. I think in politics, I kind of campaigned on not being a politician, because I'm not a politician. I'm just a human being and I'm just going to keep being myself. And my whole plan was, if I can be genuinely 100% true to myself during the campaign and I get elected, then I know I got elected for being me, and then all I have to do is continue being me, which is awesome because I'm not. There's nothing I'm better at than just being myself. So I appreciate that, man.
And now let's flip the script into the what everyone wants to be here for the AFL preseason or off season now heading to 2026. A lot of excitement, a lot of stories, a lot of, I guess, new management coming in. You got a story for a three-peat, underdogs. We got a lot happening here. We got a lot of good storylines upcoming here in the 2026 season that I think will come to a crossroads. So we got to start diving into that. Is there a particular area that you want to dive into first?
Well, I guess first off, a really late congratulations to the Gators. I mean, what they're doing right now is just unprecedented. We've never seen this this level of dominance for 2 years in a row. Like, not in my time, anyways. Like, maybe back before my time. My first year was 2010. And there have been good teams along the way, but this level of winning has been incredibly impressive. I mean, it's not just the fact that they haven't lost a game since they've come back, and they've won back-to-back national championships, including one on the road in convincing fashion. But it's the fact that they haven't had a close game. Like, they win by 30 or more every single week they come out. And it is so hard to do that. It doesn't matter how good of a football team you are to consistently come out and execute at that level. Like, how often, like in my life, a ton of times, the team that wasn't as good has been able to upset a really good team on a day where the really good team wasn't prepared. But that Gators team is prepared at a different level than everybody else. And that's, that starts at the top with Kurt, who obviously is passionate. The guy wouldn't be doing what he's doing if he wasn't passionate, if he didn't love this game. The fact that he's coming back again is a shock to me. I underestimated how much, obviously, football means to him and how much he loves the game. And to have his guys prepared week in, week out, the way that they're prepared to execute the way that they're supposed to execute week in, week out, regardless of how much talent they have, that is not an easy thing to do. And I think, to me, that's the most impressive thing, is just their ability to execute every single play, every single quarter, every single game for 2 years straight. I've never seen anything like it in my football life. So I think that's the first thing. Just big congrats to them, and it looks like they are going to run it back. And I mean, good on them. I think, why not? Keep going till you lose, I guess.
And I think Graham Potter said that in a Facebook stat. He said they'll keep playing as long as they're winning. Which, I mean, when you're winning, winning's fun. That's everything. But now every other team has the angle of like, hey, what do we need to do to beat the Gators? I think that's kind of how everyone is. Where like, and I've said it before with NFL football teams, they say, okay, we need to win the division and the conference and everything. Like, for us, it's like, okay, what do we need to do to beat the Gators? As I'm sure no one wants to have a three-peat put on us, all other 5 teams, where, hey, we couldn't beat the Gators for another year, and then they got the 3 rings. Look, doing the MJ thing, doing the MJ thing with the rings. This is kind of where I think we'll break it into like what each team needs to do, and maybe we tie this into the rankings of what we think each of the other 5 teams are at, because I think it's kind of undisputed that Gators are number 1. Who we're gonna take as 4 through 6 then, or 2 through 6?
Yeah, I think what we can do is we can start at the bottom and quickly talk about the teams and what they need. I think for me, the bottom of the barrel right now is the Bucks. With Grand Prairie's jump last year, the Bucks obviously struggled, and for them, like, I had a little bit of thoughts of possibly going back, but to be honest, like, they're struggling over there, and they're struggling to get bodies, and they're struggling to get practice numbers, and they're struggling to really have like a passion for the game of football. Like, when we played them last year, by the way, I've now played the Bucks twice, once with the Wolfpack and once with the Irish, and I always have like my best games against them, which is kind of funny. But they were just a defeated group, and they have they have guys that I respect and that I like, but you could and I felt it, in my last year there when I was playing quarterback, like the passion for me on a personal level was kind of sucked out of the game there. And that breaks my heart because like I'm a Buck through and through. I've played more years on that team than anybody's ever played on that team. I've played more games than anybody's ever played. I've put up bigger numbers in all the positions I've played there than anybody ever has. And they've given me so much, and I'll always, when I talk about the AFL, I'll always, say like I was a Buccaneer. So I love that team, and I'll always love that team. But they need to get the passion back to the game, and that starts with getting bigger numbers at practice, and it starts with getting people that are going to make other people excited to play football. And I know there's a lot of people on that team that couldn't wait for the season to just be over last year, and I think they had I don't even know how many guys they had show up in their last game of the year, but it wasn't many, and that's pretty sad. So for them, it's really, I think this year's a success if they can get consistently 25 to 30 guys at practice or more, show up with a roster of 30 guys every game, and have fun again, have fun playing football. They're not going to be good. And I mean, they're just not, they're not going to compete with the Gators and the Irish and the level of the teams that we're seeing in the league right now. They're going to finish in last place. And you can take that to the bank. But I hope that they use my words for motivation. I hope they put it up in the bulletin board. I'm being extra harsh on purpose because I do want to see them excited, and I want them to have motivation to play. So they can put a picture of me up there and with my quote that I just said, and hopefully that kind of fires them up, and we just get some more passion in that team. Like when we played them last year and we looked across and there was 14 guys out there warming up, like it's kind of disgusting. So that's a legendary franchise that's been around forever, and they need to pick it up. And I think for them a win is just getting numbers and getting guys having fun again, and then kind of slowly build up through the next few years with a young group of people. What are your thoughts on the Bucks?
I like the way you said they were getting numbers, because to try and go from where they're at right now, where it's 14, 12, 15 guys showing up to games, to being a contender, you got to take in steps in between. So I think do whatever you need to do to get the most numbers out, and have everyone get a taste of the AFL. Everyone get a feel of hey, this time next year we could be really good, and have everyone buy into that. Hey, we're just having fun. It's fun having 30 guys. No one's having to do Iron Man on every single special teams, O&D and everything, and really buy in and build from that place. I could really see them in year 2 of that rebuild really really loading up, because that's kind of where to go from where that to contender. It's just so tough to do, because you really need the community to buy in. You need guys to come out, rebuild the culture, start from the ground up, and just, I think, practice numbers and just driving that home of just hey, we all show up to practice 3-day, growing up 25 guys, 30 guys, and that's the start. And that can cannonball into other things. So I like that. I know they just posted that they had some signings, they had some lineman signings. So a good place to start. You can't go wrong with linemen. Linemen are gold in the AFL or in any football league. Linemen are gold. So, guys,
Well,
those guys,
those were guys that were on the roster last year. Yeah, those are returning guys.
Hey,
good players. I like
those
Cody. I
guys.
think Cody was one of them. Yeah, and they had that big stud from university that they posted there. Yeah, and they look, the people that Cody, who was posted as a lineman that's returning. I mean, that guy's a warrior. That guy's been coming to play football, since I came back to the team, and he's there every practice pretty much, and he's at the games, and that's a guy that they can build around. That's a guy that can be the leader of that team. That's a guy that can bring that team up and motivate those guys to get better, because just him, the way that he goes about his business is motivating in of itself, in the way that he shows up and goes to work and works hard every single play. He was an offensive lineman for me when I played quarterback there for them. So and I really appreciated everything that he did for me and keeping me safe back there. So they've got some good core players. If Brett goes back there this year, I mean, they he's a superstar. So as long as and I'd like to see him maybe go back to play quarterback if they can't get somebody else, or they might be able to. But I hope that they get some new uniforms this year because it's time. We've had the same uniforms for quite some while, especially those reds have been around for 10 years now. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing some more enthusiasm come out of the Bucks. So hopefully they can get that. Next, I mean, this is tough. So so if we're going off of last year, this is crazy to say, but it might be the Jets that are coming in at that fifth place spot because they were just unimpressive. And I mean, the Cowboys beat them twice, so I can't put them ahead of the Cowboys. The Pack were really coming on last year, so I think I've got them up. But for me, it would be the Jets. And I think that they've been really quiet, and that's a little unusual. I mean, if I recall correctly, it's almost like every year at this time, the Jets have already posted multiple signings. So there's one of two things. One, they're either flying under the radar, which is kind of where I lean to, knowing who runs that organization and how they were not happy with last year. I think they kind of want to be this under the radar team, or two, they've signed nobody. But I think it's actually the latter. Or the former. I think the former. I think they're kind of just staying quiet, and I think the Jets are going to come out. If they can fix their quarterback position, I can't imagine Rayshon's going to come back this year. But they need to fix that, and they need to fix their offensive line. I mean, their offensive line really struggled last year, and they just couldn't really get things going. Offensively, defensively, they're always strong. I mean, you're anchoring back there with Dez in the secondary, and he's always gonna ball out. And so you've got some good pieces there on defense. So the Jets are kind of like, what are they doing? They could be a team that finishes second to last, or they could be a team that finishes second, right? So it's just hard to know at this point. They need to make some big improvements on the O-line and the quarterback position, and if they do that, then I think they'll be really good.
I think the fair thing to say is that we know the defense will always be anchored by their D-line. I think that's one thing that's stood the test of time, and the way Teej really builds his team. He knows all fronts on the line. He's going to really make sure they come out anchored out on the defensive line. I think what will take the Jets from where they are now to a higher place finish for next season is if they can complete the offensive side. Right? Because that's the thing now where I think every team knew going in, like, all right, like offensively, our defense can match it, but it's like, hey, what can our offense do to get 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, just to try and give us some separation? Because that's another thing now where look at the Jets just defensively. It's like, all right, it's going to be a physical game, physical battle. Our offense versus their defense. Like, we just got to figure out ways to put up points. And then when I think every other team where it was, okay, our offense, when it was their offense against our defense, hey, we can really stop them. We can really limit them. Because in the previous years, they were the workhorse where they had running backs that were just running over everybody. Their line was just driving people back 5-10 yards at a time. So I really think if they can complete that team of, I guess, the offense, because they always had strong specials, even with this being their down year, strong specials. So they fix their offense to what they would like it to be, and I think the standard I know that Teej is gonna want is to have it be something that's gonna put the Gators to the test. So again, that's one where, like, as of right now, the rankings are 5th, but we both know that can jump at any moment. I do like to think that they're under they're staying sneaker. I think people are going to start posting in the new year. I'm just going to give everyone that because I think that's kind of when the media and the hype will sort of kick in, and everyone will have their sponsors lined up and everything. So be good to go. I know they did make a trip to Mexico, so you never know. They might have the roster of the Team Mexico team that just beat Team Canada and saying, hey, come to the lake. We got water up here.
Okay, hold on a second. I saw that, and I saw that Mexico beat Canada, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, did you? I didn't see any of the game, but like, what? How did Mexico beat that team Canada? Like, I don't even. I don't. Do you have any understanding of what happened?
I watched a bit of the game because I was watching it bit by bit, and from what I was watching, because I was watching in and out, was Team Mexico's offense could score at will on Team Canada's defense, and
Really? That is.
I was just like, I was watching it, I was like, oh, like I like watch it for a bit, do something else, and come back, and like, oh, Mexico's up, and we tie it. Mexico's up again, and I'm like, oh, like I'm like, okay, like what's Team Mexico doing here? I guess they really came to play. They looked very cohesive. They had a very good O line. That was the one thing which, when I was watching how they were just like some of the size of those guys, I was like, okay, like, these guys are good. They're playing well. Offensively, they were moving the ball well. The QB's making good decisions. A lot of stuff was going right for them. When I looked at Team Canada defense, like it's tough because like all those guys on that team are all ballers. Like we know them. We like handful of them we all played with and played against, and it's just like I marked it up to like cohesion, where I didn't feel like as a defense we weren't, and maybe as a team weren't as cohesive enough. There wasn't that gel time to come together where I felt maybe for Team Mexico they were gel. They were a smooth engine right from the start. Maybe because they had more games in between their nation or their leagues. That was the thing that really stood out to me. You know, I know that's like I said, quick interjection here of that game.
I gotta find that to see if I can watch it somewhere because I don't understand. I didn't know that Mexico had good football players, but like I don't even really care about Mexico. Like that Team Canada team, like that defense is just ridiculous. And then on offense, they've got Chris Merchant and all these super studs. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I'm sure they're disappointed. I woke up and saw that and thought it was AI. To be honest with you, when I saw it, I was like, oh. Mexico just beat Canada, Team Canada in a football game. I don't know. That's like us beating them in soccer. You know what? Actually, our soccer team's pretty good now. That's like us beating Spain in soccer. Okay. By the way, the World Cup's coming up this summer in Canada. That's going to be really cool. Whether you're a soccer fan or not, that's going to be really neat. Mexico. Oh, by the way, Spain's the number one team in the world. Canada's never beaten them. So I was shocked to see that. Okay, next, this is going to be slightly controversial, and obviously, if we all remember, I had quite the tiff with Peace Country in that team last year. So a couple douchebags on that team that I didn't like very much and called them out a few times. So, but this has nothing to do with that. I just don't think they're that good. So I'm going to now rate them as the next team we're going to talk about. So I have them as our 4th ranked team out of 6. Mostly because I don't believe in them. I think that they lucked their way into a first round bye last year because they had the easiest schedule in the league. We on the Irish had to play the Gators twice, auto losses, right? If they had to play the Gators twice, they would have been auto losses and they would not have finished second. So they had a lucky schedule. I think they had the Bucks twice, so they had the worst team in the league twice last year. And that worked out well for them to secure a first round bye. They ended up getting a quarterback that was okay. And they have a very good defense, but I don't believe in their offense, and I don't think I'm going to believe in their offense this year. Of course, we have no idea what they're going to look like, but judging on what we've known in the past and what we saw last year, they've got a good leadership group. They've got a great defense. Chad Weeb's doing a good job down there with that group as being one of the leaders, and Ty Kluwett's a hell of a ball player, and they definitely have some monsters in the secondary that I have a lot of respect for. Isaiah Rogers being one of them, and then a couple other guys as well. So good team. I think they're going to be the same as last year. And I think they got lucky last year with their schedule, so I think they fall to that 4th position. I think the Pack take a step up, Irish take a step up, and the Gators are going to stay the same. So I think Grand Prairie will fall. They'll finish 4th, and then end up playing possibly the Jets, who we've got ranked 5th in the playoffs. Anything for you on the Cowboys?
I would switch that to where I would put Irish as a 3, as a 4, and then Peace Country as a 3. If anything, by standings,
Have you
by
seen the
standings,
guys that we've signed on the Irish?
yes. And this is now where we'll get to that because I feel like everyone has been talking the league of everyone's been. We'll get to that point because I think everyone's been talking. Everyone has their thoughts and opinions, and this is now where it'd
Yeah,
be good to hear.
that's true.
It'd be good to hear your side of it too, because this is now where there's a lot of talk. As we know, the form goes off on everything. So this is now where we're going to be pulling up some of the general themes that we're hearing. But I would put just, I guess, end of season rankings, Peace Country 2, but because you're not hearing anything, I say in that 3 spot because they did finish well. But then now when you're looking at like what do they need to head into 2026, it's going to be the same kind of thing the Jets need is an offense that puts up points kind of at will or can really help the team because their defense, like I think their defense was a stat leader because they had guys that were all Dominic Fudge, Soji, they
Very
were
good
all just
defense.
stat leaders. So like they had guys who came to play, and I believe they're gonna get another bunch of young group guys to come in from U Sport and Junior. So I like their outlook defensively a lot. Offensively, that's the question that comes in because you got to get Tyson the ball. I think they got to get their front seven for their offensive side locked down, and then they could easily flip the script. So we'll see. I know Chad's got a good reins on it, but I like their outlook of attracting young talent that they have. Well, the nice thing for them, like they had young guys come all out play, and now they got other friends and everything who also played. How they was saying, hey, like I saw you were playing, and they're going to be going over. They got a good outlook coming up.
Yeah, and you know what? You very well could be right. I mean, that Grand Prairie has a rich tradition in this league of putting some pretty damn good teams together, and it's a great football city. I mean, they've got great high school programs down there, and yeah, I mean, that's the one of the things they have, going for them is the fact that they're an up and coming team. More people are hearing about them. More people are probably excited to play them, especially since making the finals last year. I mean, that got a lot of notoriety. So, I mean, that can only help them. They now, since Airdrie got new jerseys, they now have the worst jerseys in the league. So they need to figure something out with that because they can do so much better than the absolute throw up trash that they're wearing nowadays. So hopefully they can find some of that oil money.
Yeah, they got since that oil money because they got the black and the whites. That's kind of what the two they got. Right?
Yeah, and it's like this weird orange, man. I don't know. I would like to see them go like Cincinnati Bengals orange, and then like if you're gonna go orange, like go orange, right? Like be unique. I just don't. I don't like their uniforms. I don't think their whites are fine. Their blacks are kind of shitty. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't appease the eyeball that well. So, yeah, they could do well. I hope they do. I really think 2026 is going to be a year where the Gators are pushed more. And the rest of the league, besides the Bucks, is going to be pretty damn close. Next up, third, I would have you guys in the pack. So we'll talk about the pack. I feel like, and you can kind of obviously talk about this a little bit more than I can, but from playing you guys twice, I mean that first game we had was just unbelievable. Last second punt return touchdown, just such a good game. Darryl was slinging it all over the field. That's a fun game to even just go back and watch. I thought that might have been, game of the year.
Yeah, game of the year, 100%.
Yeah, that game. It was just so entertaining, and with a lot on the line too, and everyone's raving about. They're like, oh my God, Phillip Rivers at 44 years old is coming back to play football. That's insane. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, has anyone talked to Daryl Leeson here? This guy's like 63, okay, and he's still out here slinging the rock like nobody's business. So 44 is a freaking spring chicken compared to what we've got going on here. And I would argue the way that I saw Phillip Rivers throw the football yesterday, quack, 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 I would argue that Daryl Leeson might be slinging it even better than Phillip Rivers. Daryl should turn his cell phone on because the Colts might come calling soon here. I'm not really sure, but
they might. They might.
You guys might lose the quarterback. So, but what I really saw with your group, It seemed to me like you guys were having fun. It seemed to me like you guys were having fun together. It seemed like there was really good camaraderie. It seemed like there was really good buy-in. It seemed like you guys were excited to play football games. You were excited to win games. You played incredibly hard throughout your season. Is that kind of an accurate statement? Like that's just kind of what it seemed from the outside. It seemed like a group of guys that really enjoyed being around each other.
Yeah, and that's 100% what we wanted to build on because, in previous years it was the numbers, always the numbers game, everything. Talent was there, numbers game, not a buy-in. But this year we had numbers. I think we were averaging around like I think 27 guys at practice, so that was like our yearly average, which was good to see. Some are higher, some are lower, but that was a good core to build from. Guys are buying in. We got a lot of guys who are, you know, excited to be with the team, on the team. We're seeing a lot of good things there. Like with our workouts that we do every other Wednesday, we start off with 10 to 12, and our last one was 15 guys. That the buy-in is really starting to come together, which is really nice to see. I think we're gonna do like a New Year's like house party just to really kind of celebrate everything. But those are the things that really help, show that hey, we're a team, we're a camaraderie. There's chemistry just off the field because that's kind of what's gonna really build onto the football field and as well introduce new guys. I think that's a really cool thing to say. Like, hey, like come be a part of our team. This is what we get to do. Yes, we find that fine line of still playing football and having not take over your life, but still you get to go out and play ball. So that's what we're really looking to do. And I think this year now strive to attract good talent, and then as I'm sure we're all trying to do, really try and give the Gators a run for their money because that's the end goal is to beat them, and eventually, the way the Gators have been running things, you'll win the Natty because really the national championship's been decided out of the AFL.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a great point too. And I think if you've got talent, and you and I were kind of talking about this privately, but the biggest thing for me, especially after having played quarterback against you guys, was there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of specifically in the secondary. There was a lot of talent. There was some ballers out there. There was a lack of, I think, understanding at times of how to play certain coverages. You guys kind of got there. There's some guys that just kind of got lost in their eyes, not understanding that zone concepts are not just dropped to a spot. We've got to have eyes on the routes. We've got to have eyes on the releases. We've got to know, for example, if your corner, is that slot going inside the half or outside the halfback? Is he hitting the line with speed or is he hitting the line with stutter steps? Where is he going after his release? Where is he going after his inside or outside move on the halfback? What's his stem like? And instead of just, dropping straight back to his zone, right? So and it's a little more complicated than that, obviously, but I feel like if you guys can have some good coaching and some good understanding, and the Irish struggled with this as well, and this was something that was frustrating for me, with the other side of our secondary last year, was a lack of understanding of how to play zone defense. And it's starting to become one of the more frustrating things for me in football in general. And like even at the pro levels, sometimes you'll see it in the NFL too, where guys get lost covering nothing and there's no kind of concept in their head about where the receivers are. For me, just quickly, how I break it down always, like if I'm playing strong side corner, and just for any corners out there, listening, I'm taking my shade and my eyes. The first thing I count is where are my eligibles on my side, because for example, if I'm playing flat or I'm playing deep, those are the two zone coverages essentially you're going to play. I'm never worried about opposite side eligibles. I'm worried about strong side eligibles. And so, do I have two? Do I have three? If I have two, where's the running back? And if the running back's in the backfield, then there's my first read. What's happening there? My eyes can be there. I can help with the run, help with support. And two, my eyes are to the slot. And the big thing with the slot is, what's his stem? How close is he to the tackle? If there's a trips, how close is he to the trips? And what's his speed when he hits the line? And then the biggest one that often gets under taught is inside or outside release on the halfback. right? Because inside release on the half, for example, if I'm playing deep thirds as a corner, if that slot goes inside release on the halfback, he's gone for me. He's eliminated from my vision because now I'm first of all, I'm never getting there. And second of all, he's going to the safety and the safety's got to pick it up. But this is where understanding that, right? So as a corner, and this is where I struggled last year, we had a new guy playing free safety. If the halfback went, or if the slot back on my side went inside the halfback, I left him. So what I mean by that is I'm going to stop my drop, and then I'm basically going to man up against the wideout. And if he does some sort of in route, I can go with it, or I can kind of hang off and trail on the flats, or hold my zone. But if he goes, or wait for the corner route from the inside trips guy if he's there. But if he goes inside that halfback, and the safety doesn't recognize that, then that guy is going to run wide open for a touchdown. And this happened multiple times last year, right? So it's really important, and I'm just saying this is kind of a fun teaching point as well for anyone playing DB, but safeties, you have to be on point with your corner, and you both have to understand that, and you have to be able to communicate inside releases from that slot. And then those eyes got to go there. Too often against the Gators, because Chris is so good and these quarterbacks are getting so good at looking off, our safeties are taught or are still thinking to follow eyes, right? So if I'm on the quarterback's left, and that left slot back takes an inside the halfback release and goes at the safety, but the quarterback looks right and pulls the safety over, nobody covers that. It's uncoverable, right? So little things that I think you guys need to really focus on, because you have the talent in the secondary. But if in order, you're talking about beating the Gators, you absolutely have to shut down their pass game. I don't think Bryce is going to be there this year because he just went off to Switzerland or something like that, and Slovakia or something like that. So I don't know what the running back's going to be. But if you want to beat those guys, that's where you got to fix, because I think your offense can go. I think you guys had like the most passing yards against them.
We did. We had
like
two. I think we had 202 against the Gators, and it was purely passing. And it was like pass, take a hit, pass, take a hit. So it was a good possession game where it was just like, we'll just catch the ball. Don't worry about yak. Like, I think for me, I think all I caught was flats. I think I caught out of the 5, I think 4 out of 5. I know 1 was over my head and I missed, but it was really just like catch and tackle, which was it. But like, that was just the game plan going in. Like, some guys got some big hits, but this is now where for us, we're like, hey, if this, and that was again, I guess it was tough because like we could only really pass, couldn't run. And we know that that's a patch for us to fix now. It's like, okay, we can run. If we could add like 80 yards of rushing, that would have really helped change some dynamics in the game. So tools for us to go back and see. And we have had a good, call it recruitment prospect list so far. This is now where we'll tie it into the energy side, but I've been calling it like prospects that have been coming to our team workouts. Like, we're having a good look at that. Guys say they want to come out. I don't count anyone as recruits until like mid-April, May. Yes. You need new batteries? I'll fix it after, okay?
Kid break.
Yeah, kid break. I bought new batteries for this. Can I do it after? Yeah? Okay. Can you go see Mom? And tell Mom I have the batteries for it. Can you close the door, please?
Dad life, baby.
Yeah. I'm known as like, oh, dad fix. Anything broken? Dad fix. So it's gonna be now where like we need linemen, O lineman, D lineman, because I think we've had some good talent with I'll keep under wraps for now, just with our upgrades in our LB core and DBs. We have some nice young talent there, but it's all gonna make or break with the O line, D line, because I can't have new talents coming in being okay, like I have to, I'm now getting double teamed by, I'm the linebacker getting double teamed by the center, like the center's getting a free run at me. Like, I want to eliminate that to free up our guys to make plays, and as well for us on the line, like I really want to solidify that to bring back the run game. It's been, I feel like for me now as playing running back, I've been more effective in the pass game because that's now where we've been excelling, but we need to really add on that 50 yards a game, 80 yards a game, 100 yards a game side to our offense, which will help alleviate that for off there, of which as much as I know Daryl's play calling is going to be more 80-20 pass than run, it's nice to be able to get that option there. So recruiting class wise, I like us prospect list wise, I like where we're at, but um, we're at I say we're at like literally the halfway point of the off season. Like I was just telling our guys like Memphis and Josh, like our recruiting group, like we're at the halfway point. You know, the second half is when it's really going to heat up. So so when the winter workouts come in, all the other stuff comes in, and we want to add guys to our community or collective of guys want to play. So I think we're looking good, and this is now where I like where we're positioned because I think everyone's in that spot to where like, hey, if we do a really good job of the recruiting, taking into a good training camp, I like to see us as be able to compete with the Gators and give them a run because in my head, I'm like, hey, maybe we lose to them in the regular season, but then we take that, get hot in the playoffs, and can give them a good run for their money, maybe in the finals, semifinals, however the bracket goes. But it's all about getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, and I think like you guys said, like I said, when you have that kind of team camaraderie, and people can see that, and especially from the outside, and people want to be a part of that. I think that's a big part, of this league is people do. Yeah, we want to win, but people also want to have fun while doing it because we're out here risking our bodies to do that. So I think that's important. I think you guys are building something really good. I'm excited to see. Um, I always want the Wolfpack to do well. Like the Wolfpack and the Bucks are the two longest standing teams in the league. And, I've had many battles on the Bucks against the Wolfpack, and I've had one battle being on the Wolfpack against the Bucks. So, and I enjoyed my time in the Wolfpack. So I always want to see the Wolfpack do well. And, you got to have a lot of respect for Daryl and Rob Sherman and all the work that they put into that team too, to kind of keep that team going. So looking forward to seeing that. Okay. Probably the most interesting team of the offseason would be the Irish, my team I played for last year, and the team that I'm most likely going to play on this year. There's a slight chance that I'm very much debating if I play this year. There is a chance that I actually don't end up playing. If that is the case, I'll still be very involved in the league and checking things out, and we'll still be doing the podcast and all that stuff. But I have recently, with my new town council job, my life's gotten a little busier, and Tuesdays, which are practice days for most teams, I have council meetings, and so I also am in love with golf. And the reality is right now in my life, I like golf more than I like anything else. And so I don't want to get hurt. But I love football, and I'm still, I still think I'm pretty good at it, and I want to. So it's tough for me. So there's a chance I don't play. But as of right now, it's probably like 70% chance I do play. But there's a little bit of a chance that I might also sit out this year and reevaluate for next year. But what do you think of all the stuff you've heard? Like, to be honest, I don't have any inside information. I only know what everyone else knows. We got a new president, Neil Mack, who has been, on the ground. He does have a wide range of connections, and he's been a part of the league on a few different teams. We played together on the Bucks actually in 2016, I believe, and he played on the Gators before that, I believe, and so he's been around. And he really is doing a good job with Airdrie and the community stuff they've been doing. We're changing jerseys and logo, which I actually love. I love the new logo. I love the new jerseys. I love kind of the new look. But there's some kind of jaw-dropping names. Jordan Alexis, who's been in this league before for Fort Mac and is a super stud. Jamal Henry, who I played with on the Bucks in 2016 as well, super stud. Is apparently these are Quebec guys. So I'm kind of like I'll believe it kind of when I see it, when they're actually out here, because it's a lot to, I don't even know what I'm going to do yet. It's November, so people can change their minds and stuff like that. But there's been quite a lot. There's a quarterback that apparently a national level quarterback from the United States. So we'll kind of see. But what are your kind of thoughts? I mean, if all that comes together, they might be the Irish might be the number one team in the league.
Yes, and this is now where all everything that I'll mention is all coming off of like what I've heard at the forum and everything. And it's just like these are all big names. Like they're all big names, and I think it's more of a timing thing because I think if Irish was to release these names literally like January 10th, like into the new year, then everyone would be like, I think turning eyes way more because it's like, hey, like season's only what 3-4 months turnaround. Where now it's like, all right, we haven't passed Christmas yet, I haven't passed November Day, Remembrance Day yet. Like, it's too new, too fresh, right? Because there's a lot of time where, like, as we know, the adults, especially as men, like life can happen, life can change. Hey, I got a promotion at work. I can't commit anymore. Like all that stuff comes in, which is now where in our process of recruitment Wolfpack, it's like, hey, you're a prospect. You say yes right now, but you getting accepted in school, getting a job that's gonna change your schedule, that takes you off the list. So, you know, I like to reserve it until like we definitively know and they buy in, which is how we'll do things. But again, it's very good for the new team and new management team coming in to inject excitement because now, especially I know the one that really blew up was with Noah. Noah, I forget his last name. The running
Oh,
back
the
out of the
running
Sun,
back from the Sun, yeah.
right? Which is now where it's the case where he comes out and like I'm sure he's gonna light it up. And then it's like Chris is like, what's gonna happen with LJ Dyer and everything? You never know. Is there gonna be a 2 running back head? You never know. But then like there's a coach out of the Sun saying he's never gonna go. Versus like he's actually gonna go to the BC Lions. He's gonna go to Europe. So there's a ton of different hearsay, he says, she says stuff happening, which again,
Did the
which I
Okanagan
think is
Sun coach
the
say
fun
he's
of
not
it.
going to
That's
go
the
to the
fun of it,
Irish?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Did you say the Okanagan Sun coach said he wasn't going to go to the Irish?
Let's just put it as it was from undisclosed source. But again, it was November talk. It's 5 months away. You never know. Like you can't take it truly until I like to say April, May. Okay, like hey, I'm about to see this guy in 2 weeks, 2 months. You never know. So, but I will say it's very good for attention and like and excitement to the league because that's kind of what we need. Will we see him? You never know. We'll take it as we go. But I think it's coming. But I think everyone was kind of waiting to see. Like I think when I looked at the form last, I don't know, was it Mike Cush or Kurt that said like, oh, they put up like a bodybuilding poster of of a
I
guy
saw
and
that,
everything.
yeah.
And of course, like it's the form. Like we're always gonna roast and everything, which I think is as players, that's our safe space. We all can roast each other, but outside of it, we all stand together. So you never know, but
Yeah.
um, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it develops because now, like, what do the Irish need to really tackle topple the Gators? It's I think run game wise, that was the Irish's strength. Like I think there's a picture of us against the Wolfpack against you guys against us the first game, where it's literally like I think it was the guard, and then LJ in the middle. And I'm just like, how is this hole so open? I put it in our team
Yeah,
chat like, guys, we gotta fix this. Like,
we Yeah, we ran the ball really well. We had games where we didn't complete a pass, and we had very good receivers. And so obviously our quarterback play was not good, by far not good. Probably the worst quarterback play in the league, really. And then I had to end up playing quarterback against you guys in the playoffs, and that was our best quarterback game that we'd had. And I'm not a quarterback, and I had 2 practices. So, I mean, that says all you need to know about our quarterback situation. So, if we do get this guy from the States, who's a national level player in the States, and I'm blanking on his name. I mean, that right there elevates the Irish to number 2 in the league. Immediately number 2 because of the talent that we have on offense. Regardless of if anyone else comes, the Okanagan Sun guy or whatever. And I'm not sure if LJ is coming back. I hope LJ does. LJ is one of my favorite teammates, by the way. I loved LJ. LJ was a great guy, great player. Really helped me when I was quarterback. He had to remind me a couple times which way to open on certain run plays because I had 2 practices to figure a lot of stuff out. So we'd get out of the huddle and he'd be like, open right, open left. Right. So he was really good, and so I hope he comes back and that's where we need it. The O line was good, quite good actually. The
Mhm.
quarterback needs to get replaced. We've got, Vardo's a great receiver. And the thing with Vardo is, when I came to you guys in 2022, I think that was Vardo's first year ever playing football, and he had no idea what he was doing. Like he's an athlete, but he had no idea how to play football. And honestly, it hasn't, like, he's improved each year, but football is a complicated game that takes, like, I'm 22 years into my football career. I'm still learning new things every single year I play. So Vardo is only going to get better, not just physically, like he's just a natural gifted athlete, but mentally and understanding the game of football. Like, I mean, I think last year he made a comment that was, something about where are the numbers, on the field, or something simple, right? Where, like, we don't even, he just has not played football very long, so didn't understand. It might not have been that, but it was a simple a concept that you would think would be simple, but because he hadn't played football, he didn't really understand that. So he's only going to get better. Obviously, Shug is dominant and is awesome. If I go back there, that's where I want to play. I want to play receiver. So if we have a good quarterback, so I mean, there's a ton of talent on that offense. And if you get a quarterback, they're going to be right there. If they then get all these other guys like Jordan Alexis and Jamal Henry, and then, I mean, if you've got a receiving core of Vardo, Shug, me, Jamal Henry, and Jordan Alexis, I mean, there's not a crew of DBs anywhere that's locking that down all game long, especially with a good quarterback. So if that's true, that's going to make them very, 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 very good. So we'll wait and see, because like you said, like, guys could, like, legitimately be committed, like, yes, I'm coming. And then something happens in January, something happens in February, a new opportunity comes. I mean, if you would have asked me 3.5 months ago, or if you would have told me 3.5 months ago that I would lose my coaching job of 10 years and then be elected to town council, I would have laughed in your face. That's ridiculous. But look, that my life changed dramatically, and I had no idea that was going to happen. You're right. April's a good, like, once these guys are, like, they've moved to Airdrie, they have a place, they've set up work, because there's there's all those things that are involved as well. So wait and see on the Irish for sure.
Because if it was like local guys, then you could be like, okay, like, they're going, because then they don't need to do the move, don't need to get the job and remove their life for football. But because it's all out of town guys, you're like, a lot of things. There's always a lot of stuff, like for us, Wolfpack, we were supposed to have a guy come from China to play D-line for us. We were going to call him the Timu Aaron Donald. Got held up immigration.
That's amazing. The Timu Aaron Donald. That's good.
He got held up. So, I've actually been following with his wife. Like, hey, like, how's everything's going? So
he got him for 1 cent with a coupon.
Maybe possibly. If he comes and he's, I've seen his workout videos. I'm like, this guy's great,
bro.
Timu, I'm trying to...
I got a funny Timu story. I went golfing with Xavier Lawrence last year before a game, and he pulled out this green driver, and it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, where did you get that from? And he's like, I got it for 1 cent on Timu. I was like, I didn't even know what Timu was at that time. That was my introduction to Timu, and this driver was just god. But he used it. I couldn't believe it. But anyways, that's funny.
Here's the question. Did now Xavier make that driver, like, look good at all? Because remember, we always said Xavier just is good at everything.
Oh, man. Okay. I love him. I don't like to talk too bad about him, but I don't think he made it look very good. To be honest, I love you, buddy. I know he's listening. I know he's a loyal listener of the podcast. But I mean, maybe he got a good shot out of that. But no, I don't think he. I think he did.
To cap off on your Timu story, I'm actually ordering off. I'm ordering all the gifts I'm doing for Christmas all off Timu. So.
Oh. Wow.
I've actually had pretty good luck on their clothes size. Like, I bought, like, long sleeve shirts from there before, and, like, were way better quality than what I could have paid for in, like, a Lululemon or anything.
Wow.
And I bought that. So I bought an overshirt that was really good quality. So I'm buying for my girlfriend's brother, and he's a university student. So, I'm getting him, like, a bunch of socks, shirts, overshirts. Actually, the backpack I'm getting here. and a few other things. But like I've had some good run-ins with the clothes side. Now their electronics, yeah, a little sus, but clothes, socks, you name it, are good. One thing I'm actually might order is a visor. I saw they had visor on Temu for $24. So
Really?
I might dabble with that potentially here. Like I might order one, just see how it works up. Because you like a Nike visor is like $80. And I'm like, damn, like they used to be like 40. You remember like Under Armour ones? I'm gonna try a Temu one and see how it works. Because then if it gets scratched, boohoo. Then, you can order 4 for that amount, and then like if they fit and everything, we'll see. We'll move. Maybe we'll keep everyone updated on the Temu purchases for Temu visors and whatnot.
Timo, we're looking for a sponsorship now. We just plugged the shit out of you. So, can you tell Josh Lee to get in contact with this fellow Chinese man and figure out who owns Timo and get our? Yeah, is that racist? You know what? We're allowed to be a little racist on this podcast now. I guess that's the time of the world. So it's just words. Everybody, settle down. I can't get fired anymore. I've already been fired, so they can't fire me from town council. Yeah, I think Temu. I got to look into Temu. I haven't bought anything off of Temu, but I get the emails all the time because I signed up. Because once Xavier told me about his green driver and they got it for 1 cent, I did sign up, but I don't know. Seems a little sketchy.
Start with clothes.
Side
start
of
with
anthrax
clothes and go from there. Yeah.
Not sure what I'm getting in the mail, so I don't know. They're doing something right over there in China, though. Clearly. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Irish. we got on a little bit of a tangent there. Yeah, and that's exactly it. So we'll wait and see on that. It'll be interesting to see, how many of those guys actually come over. And but I can tell you, Neil Mack, the new president of the team, is putting in a lot of effort.
He's on it.
He's on it. He's putting in a lot of effort. He cares, and he wants to bring a national championship to Airdrie, and I think that would be amazing, and I think that would be amazing for the community. And this is Q where the Gators say we already brought a championship to Airdrie, so I can do that for you guys. But you know what I mean. Okay. Obviously, number one, Gators. We've talked about them a little bit. You know what? I'm shocked they're bringing everybody back for the most part. What I've heard is, a lot of their main guys are coming back. Like I said, I think Bryce. I assume Bryce won't be there, but maybe I don't know when the season is because he's going to Europe.
Yeah.
Different seasons,
but here's the thing that I think it's going to really, which is where I think we need to, as other teams, need to account for. The Gators just had 5, 6 players on the national team go, and I felt like all the guys who came from Gators played really well. Like you could just tell they've played football recently. Right, and I can really tell, like I think in that Germany game, like Alex Tonge, he was everywhere, and I was just like watching, like, man, I've seen him make plays on film just through our league and everything. I'm sure with his university career, but like he was just fresh, ready to go, and I could see that through other players like Tyshawn, Chris, and everyone else who went, like they were just sharp. So I could really see now. This is kind of where, like, call it a fear, but an eventuality where a lot of those players like, hey, like, where'd you play? Like, obviously those conversations, like, where'd you play? Oh, I played with the Gators here in Calgary. We're back to back, aiming to go for a 3-peat. Like, you should join us. And like, this is what was playing like all of us here play on the same team, and like just that. But you're playing, and it was fun. It was easy. They had that like fresh feel, and you got to like make highlights and tapes, and it brought you here. Oh yeah, why not? And then I could see maybe getting like 5 more plays from that team, and then it's like, hey, like, they just got 5 highly skilled players that we have to also now account for. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kurt's working on some magic, because you had the team there, and Bryce was also coaching as an RB. And I know Bryce is a great marketer, great networker. So I'm sure he's been in a couple ears already. So this is now where we're like, hey, like, yes, they have their team. They're gonna be bringing some new guys, but where those new guys are coming from, which is now
have we ever had? I don't think we've ever had Bryce on the pod. We need to have Bryce on the podcast. I don't think we've ever had Bryce on the podcast.
Bryce, we're coming for you.
Yeah, well, now, especially now that he's over there. And yeah, we need to have him on the podcast. I talked him up a bunch last year because I was just constantly just ridiculously impressed with what he was doing and making good football players look silly. So yeah, we need to have him on the podcast. Now he's got a cool new journey going to Europe, and I like talking to those guys that have gone to Europe because I think that's a cool opportunity for people, and maybe it's a bit scary to kind of figure out how do I do that and stuff like that. So he can probably maybe give some advice on that. We can talk to him about that. So yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Bryce after this actually and see if we can get him on here maybe even for the next one. So I think that'd be a good conversation. He's a great talker. Like he's
he will love to talk, and
yeah.
I know Bryce personally too, and so I've gone out a couple of times with Bryce during the university days. So he loves to talk. That's a lot of good stories there.
Yeah, he's a California kid, so he's got
Yeah,
some good ones. All right, man. Well, it was great doing this again. It was good to be. I miss this. I miss talking football. My life has been everything but football, like literally everything but football lately. So it's good to see you. It's good to talk to you again. It's good to kind of get a little bit excited. We're still obviously a long way away, but as we know, the time goes by fast. The season's going to be here before we know it. I think we're coming into our third year. It's been 3 years since we started this podcast, so that's pretty cool. And we'll continue to do this, and we'll continue to, somehow we always find good stuff to talk about. You never know. We didn't know we were going to be talking about the Temu Aaron Donalds and Chinese anthrax on the package and whatever. But here we are. These things happen in these conversations. So appreciate it, Omari. Appreciate everyone listening. Omari, if you could try to get this up by even tomorrow, Christmas Eve, give something people to kind of listen to.
Yeah, I'll get on that for everybody.
That'd be great.
A little pre AFU Christmas present.
Perfect. All right, Omari, close us out. Thanks again, buddy.
Hey, appreciate everyone tuning in. It's good to be back and heading into the new year. A lot of football stories that are coming up and everything, and a lot of good stuff with signings, national games. All you can name, and I think it's really exciting because I think everyone's had a nice chance to take a step back, focus on life. I know we have and everything, which is nice to see. I think that's the beauty of the space that we're in in a men's league and everything, where we get to do what we love of playing football, but as well progress ourselves in our lives and whatever that means. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and hope you're advancing in whatever ways it means for yourself. Make sure you drink your water, your vitamin D's, get your vitamins in, CDs, omegas, and everything. Right? If you need a prescription, go to the Teej Natural Shop. These guys got that always open.
That's what I should do. Just start selling stuff online through the podcast. Yeah.
Hey, we got to pay these bills, but hey, appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next episode here as we head into 2026, and we'll be finding some great stories to cover here, great conversation pieces, and just really bringing light to how football has developed in the province, because it definitely has grown, and let's keep it going that way.
Awesome. Thanks, Omar. Thanks, everybody.